Hello, hello! Welcome back to Musings of Mavri. I'm Mavri, and today we're going to be watching Shield Hero episode 10. So, last episode, something new happened. We got a new princess on the scene, Melty. She seems to be so far a good character, I guess, unless they're really she's really hiding her attentions very, very well. At the beginning, when Mine was on the scene under the pseudonym of Isabella, you could tell that she was trouble right from the start. She didn't seem honest, she didn't seem open. With Melty, I kind of feel like that is her honest self. And if she actually turns out to be another backstabbing character, I will be impressed, okay? But at the same time, I guess Naofumi probably doesn't really want much to do with her, so I'm assuming for the next few episodes we're probably going to have to play a game of attrition. So Melty can finally say what she wants to say to Naofumi, and he can finally listen to her. And maybe Philo and Raphtalia will help as well. Also, beyond that, what can I do here? I guess I'm still waiting for another party member. You know, remember back a few episodes I was talking about, I feel like Naofumi's current team is lacking in AoE DPS. But at the same time, looking at the opening, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any character joining him soon. Maybe that's going to be at the second half of the season. Maybe Melty will join. Intriguing, I'd say. Beyond that, what else is there to do? Oh, he hasn't saved Itsuki's butt yet, which I assume he's gonna do sometime soon. And also, maybe, potentially, the next wave will be here. So let's just see in regards to that. Beyond the anime, in terms of real life, the production behind Shield Hero announced a all-night event that's going to be hosted at the end of this month. It's a real life event, so probably most of you guys will not be able to attend. But basically, they're going to screen the episodes 1 through 12 in a movie theater, and also have a pre-screening of the 13th episode, which would be the start of the second half of the season during that event as well. So if we're following schedule, the second half should start in April, so they would be able to see it first. Yeah, so this Shield Hero is listed as 25 episodes in total, so 13 episode is the cutoff mark. But again, that's probably irrelevant for 99% of you guys, so let's just go into the episode and see what is going to happen. And let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There are guns. So there is a techno. So we weren't seeing things a few episodes ago. About early 1800s, Napoleonic War era. Yeah, killed him. Killed him, Philo. Isn't that the wizard? And I'm guessing he's going to reject them. Actual wizards. But I doubt they're gonna be actual companions. They look a little bit too generic for that. Oh, looks nice. Oh, nice. Okay. So are there options? Speed, maybe? She seems to be a more agility type fighter. Aw, look at her face. Oh, it's these people again. No, he's actually going to go ahead of it? Is somebody going to intervene? Hmm. And this is why it's nice to have some powerful friends. it pays to do business, even with people whom maybe their background is something that you don't necessarily agree with. I wonder if this guy is someone special. I had this feeling that he was going to be someone special from when he first appeared. Oh, are we gonna travel aboard now? Abroad? Mercenary nation. Demi-human nation. Oh. Shield Frieden? Yeah, that seems to be something right up your alley, Shield Hero. Okay. It's a dragon. And she's gonna be pissed off by that, isn't she? Yep, all the merchants love him. Clearing the sewers? Alright. A classic RPG quest. Nice. Ooh. That's still not done? Man, a curse is way harder to remove than I thought. I thought it'd be something like just sprinkle the holy water on her or drink it or something. Go with you? But at least give Naofumi something to think about. By the way, have you given them their gifts yet? Even with that, you still need to pay. Probably ordered. By the way, Naofumi has an ownership of a town, right? So I guess they're just gonna gloss over it, but they should have had some... Itsuki? Set up a revolution. Against who? This country? One day. Oh, isn't that them? Yep. はい。 And so why isn't the king doing something about that? No, they don't know Spider-Man? Because another dictator come up? Well, yeah. I feel like a lot of Western people will probably. But to them, it's just a game, though. Hmm. He's probably not going to take it, but rather spend it for them. Yep. Hmm. Alright, he's kind of building his forces. Yep. That seems like a flag. Somehow I get the feeling that this queen is gonna die soon. Nope. Oh. Hello. Aren't you from the opening? Hmm. Okay, I'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty, lots to talk about this episode. It was quite interesting. We got a lot of different developments and also some things to speculate on. So, first of all, in regards to Melty and the Queen. So, from the, I guess, in a way you could call it not really off camera, but in ways that Naofumi doesn't know. So with them explaining the situation, with the queen explaining the situation, it seems that they are honest in their desire to make good with Naofumi, with the shield hero. So in this case, it isn't any sinister plot that tries to set him up a second time, right? Although it is kind of interesting how the queen is essentially under, I guess, house arrest near that country that she is at. It seems like with all those armed guards around, she's wary of traveling out or something like that. And that's why she sent Melty. So she feels that she has her role cut out for her in that country, and whatever diplomatic relationships or goals that she may have there. And definitely, with her talking about the wave and also about herself and Melty, I definitely get this sense of foreshadowing that she's probably gonna be dead sometime soon, right? Like, all kinds of death flags were ringing out. I could be wrong, but it really felt like she was preparing she was preparing for what will happen to the country and whatnot after her death. So that's something to keep an eye on. And speaking of making good, in regards to this situation, I already said it. Naofumi being as stubborn as he is, and also with good reason to distrust the royalty, it's gonna take some time. And probably, I'm even thinking maybe it might not happen within this first cour, or within this month, the remaining few episodes before we head to the second half. We might stretch out this plot point a little bit longer. But he did get some, I guess, semi-companions, right? With Ake and his little ragtag unit of a few warriors and a few wizards. And that one is actually kind of interesting as well, because I look back at the UI, the interface of the party system, and apparently you can appoint squad leaders and then have sub squads within your party. So that seems to be a pretty advanced system. I'm wondering if that's going to eventually lead into something like even commanding army-sized units, right? Like, I don't know how deep it goes. It seems kind of weird that for, most of us have played games before, right? In normal RPG settings, you wouldn't have this kind of setting where you can have another subgroup within your party, a sub-party within your party. It generally doesn't happen that way. So that's also something intriguing that maybe we can keep an eye on. In regards to the other countries, so this one is also kind of interesting to me. I originally thought that from the beginning that, Naofumi, you can just leave this country, right? Go to somewhere else where they appreciate your talents a little bit more. I mean, yeah, you could say that he's staying here in order for him to eventually be able to go home, but at the same time, since it's already pretty clear that the royalty and whatnot have a prejudice against you, what guarantee do you have of actually returning home with the royalty, the king and whatnot, upholding their end of the bargain, right? Like, that seems, I don't know, that seems awfully trustful of Naofumi, considering that he doesn't trust them at all. So one of my initial thoughts was just move out and go to another country. And so in this episode, we do find we knew there were other different nations and countries, but introducing some of them, so there are demi-human countries as well. So that's already something that I feel like is a big plot point, especially in regards to the global politics of this series. And also there's this country called Shieldfrieden, which I'm going to assume has some kind of connection with the Shield Hero. And speaking of which, again, going back to the beginning of the episode, so the technology gap between the different countries, right? We saw a little hint of this in the previous episodes when the Queen first made her appearance, but at the time it wasn't entirely clear. In this episode, well, it's pretty... you can see the soldiers, right? So, again, as I mentioned within the episode, that kind of uniform screams to me Napoleonic era, and especially it seems to be inspired by British-style grenadiers or fusilier uniforms. Seriously, that just looks something right out of the handbook of the British Empire during the early 1800s. So actually, this also started me thinking. I wonder if all of the different countries in this series are inspired by some real-life counterparts. That mercenary nation the slave trader mentioned, it had a coliseum there, right? So I don't know, maybe all of these different countries are also inspired by the various different countries during that time period. So we got Britain, maybe we would have France and Spain and Germany. or actually not Germany. There wasn't Germany then. Prussia, Austria, Italy. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see if they actually try to sort of draw a parallel between the different countries and some real life counterparts. And again, I'm wondering if this country that we're currently at, Mallorak or something, is way behind in terms of technology levels compared to the other countries. Seriously, the gap seems to be at least about, I'd say 150 years, 200 years, just judging by the everyday technology level that we can see from within the series. So that part is also intriguing as well. And then, we meet up with Ren and Itsuki, and so it turns out that, in a way, Naofumi did save Itsuki's butt within this episode by providing some help to the refugees who became refugees due to Itsuki's doings of overthrowing an empire. Now, that part is also pretty interesting to me because, again, it sort of draws on real life events, right? And I feel like it's especially prominent in, I guess, if you're from the States, regarding the situations in the Middle East or South Africa, if you're from Europe, maybe in regards to Africa or South America, and maybe some Asian countries as well. That the entire, I'm not going to go too into detail because I feel like this is a kind of politically charged subject in regards to, like, is it a good thing or not to overthrow these dictators or bad rulers? What are the pros and cons? Yeah, you're getting rid of a bad dictator, but are the people more well off or less well off because of it? That's a hard question, right? So, and depending on what kind of political stance you have, that's another entire box of worms that I'm not going to open. I will say, however, for the situation that was portrayed within this anime, in this episode, where overthrowing a dictator through a revolution eventually makes the situation descend into the exact same process, the same cycle. There's a great video on this by CGP Grey. So he's a pretty big YouTuber. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of him before. But if you haven't heard of him, or if you haven't seen this particular video yet, I wholeheartedly recommend CGP Grey's video, The Rules for Rulers. So I'll probably link it, somewhere here. You guys can go check it out. It basically it provides a basic framework for understanding how dictatorships work and why they do the things that they do. So wholeheartedly recommend that. It can give you a quick understanding of these kinds of situations. So props to Shield Hero for tackling this kind of question within the series. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about the wave, right? Because next episode is probably going to be the wave, and we see the sort of humanoid is it a monster? Anyways, the humanoid enemy, right, that we saw from the opening, and, well, she's apparently appeared here as well. So the presence of this kind of humanoid actually, again, raises up a lot of different questions, like where are these monsters actually coming from? What exactly is this wave, and what exactly is the mechanism they come from? So if there's this presence of monsters or antagonists with high intellect, then that means that probably that place where they came from, there is culture and society as well. So then it begs the question, is there more behind this, rather than just very basic, monsters come, we kill the monsters, and then we do other things as well. There might be a whole different situation in regards to the origin of these monsters and the origin of the wave. So especially considering that this is also an isekai series, maybe they come from another world, and maybe eventually we're also going to learn of the happenings and politics of that world as well. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're invading because their world is dying, kind of that kind of situation. So this definitely opens up those possibilities as well. So, yeah, that's all I want to talk about this episode. I'm guessing for the next 2 episodes, we're probably going to be resolving this wave situation. There's probably going to be an epic battle. It might take 1 episode, it might take 2 episodes. And at the end, when we enter into the second cour, or second half of the season, my money right now is on Naofumi taking a trip to another country to learn a little bit more about the world in general, what's the shield hero's role in all this, and I guess potentially getting some new companions as well. So I am predicting that within the second half of the season, we're probably going to get a new opening or something. At least I hope we do. Otherwise, only a party of 3? That seems a little bit boring. Let's have a little bit more people, right? Or he can start building his army. I don't know. They can do whatever they want. So, yeah, that concludes what I want to say about this episode. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, this has been an interesting episode so far, except for Naofumi's hard-headedness. Hopefully, Philo and Raphtalia can sort of soothe him up, loosen him up a little, make him softer. Then we can get the ball rolling again. So, this has been Mavry from Musings of Mavry, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.